Hello newsletter subscriber, thank you very much for checking this out. I've left the comments open like I did the last time I did an unboxing and first impressions for the newsletter, so feel free to leave a comment down below if you're watching this over on YouTube and just let me know what your thoughts are and say hi and say hello to the other people who subscribe to me. If you've got a YouTube channel or you comment regularly underneath my videos, you might notice other people hobnobbing in the comments as well who also are subscribed to my newsletter, so you can be like, hey, I know you from underneath Kelly's videos, and it'll be cool. So I have decided to do an unboxing and first impressions and a little reading for my newsletter peeps, because today I received the True Love Tarot. This has been on my wish list for over a year. The lighting is ridiculous in here right now because it is literally midnight, and it was a pretty dark day anyway. Even in daylight it wasn't really ideal filming conditions, to be completely honest, and I think I do need a new lamp in my soft light as well. So, and the soft light is literally here because there's no light anywhere else. The soft light is literally here, so I'm going to do my best not to get the glare. There we go. True Love Tarot. I'm so excited about this, and I do like to do the odd unboxing and first impressions and just have a chat with the newsletter peeps kind of exclusively. I really enjoy that. It makes me happy to do that. So let me have a look how much time I've got on this thing. Okay, 1 hour 36. I'm not going to be that long. Okay, so what do we know about True Love Tarot? It's by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. They are the authors of the Enchanted Tarot and the Instant Tarot Reader. And this deck is advertised as a lover's guide to dating, mating and relating, which I think sounds actually a little bit Pukesville, to be honest. That's not really up my street. I'm not into that. It doesn't sound good. And I've read kind of like the blurb on the back, and I'll read a little bit for you. But essentially, it's supposed to be a tarot deck that's all about romance and love and meeting the right person and all that kind of thing. And I didn't purchase it because that was the theme. In fact, the theme doesn't really interest me at all. It's not really why I purchased the deck. It's not why I had an interest in it. I love the look of it. I think it looks sensational. I'm really, really excited about it. It's got these little subheadings for every card. I really love the art. I just think there's something really beautiful about it. And I tried so many times to knock it off my wish list and I just couldn't do it. So that's why I've got it, because the art really speaks to me. And I feel like this deck really just characterises a part of me in such a kind of visceral way. So on the back it says, simply concentrate on your question, pull one card and let the illustrated guidebook give you direct and insightful advice for finding love or improving an existing relationship. So the 22 included love spells also work on a deep heart and soul level that will entertain and empower you. Okay, so it includes love spells as well, which is really interesting. And the love spells will help you find your way on the road to happiness and romance that lovers throughout time have tread. Shouldn't that be trodden or trodden? I don't know. Anyway, never mind. Let's get into it. I'm so excited. I've got my scissors ready. I'm not making the rookie error of not having my scissors, especially not when it's so late at night. I was definitely going to go to bed without doing this unboxing and first impressions. I was just thinking, you know what, I'll leave it till tomorrow. But no, I decided I'm going to have myself a little nightcap. I'm going to have myself a little rum and coke and actually enjoy this thing that I have waited so long for. It's been on my wish list forever, and like I said, I tried to knock it off a few times because I'm trying to just put a lot more sort of diverse and different decks that I feel will really challenge me, that I'm not necessarily purchasing all the time just for aesthetic reasons, but I'm purchasing them because I think they will really give me something psycho-spiritually. They will be challenging, and also the diversity is there, and I'm not sure the diversity is here in this deck at all, to be honest with you. But it was one that I just couldn't knock off my wish list. It's one that I just continue to be intrigued by and continue to want. And I mentioned it over in the For the Love of Cards Facebook group, and a few people said they'd never even heard of it, never even seen it before. So it's quite exciting, really. It's not one that lots of people have, and it's just something that I just love the collage style of it. So I'm super excited. Okay. Got my little blanket on. I can't wait to go to sleep after this. I'm not going to be playing with this when I turn the camera off. I'm going straight to bed, but then I will definitely enjoy the feeling of adding it to my collection officially tomorrow, which will be so cool. Look at this really big, very sturdy box here. So it opens up and you've got, oh, you've got the book attached to the inside of the box, but it does slip out here, so it's not actually glued in. The back sleeve kind of slips out, and this is a very big, generous book with a lot in. Oh wow, it's beautiful. The inside pages are all colourful. Look how gorgeous that is. The paper is such high quality. That is just so lovely. And you've got kind of like a full page for every card. So this is just awesome. Now the 4 suits are different in True Love Tarot. So they're not swords, cups, pentacles and wands. In fact, they are roses, shells, wings and gems instead. And so let me just have a quick look. So you've got the major arcana as usual. And then the suit of roses is representative of the suit of wands, which is fire. The suit of wings is representative of the suit of swords, which is air. The suit of shells is cups, which is water. And the suit of gems is this deck's version of pentacles, which is the element of earth. So I'm going to have to get used to that. That's going to take some getting used to. But I think I can do it. I think I can make that switch and it'll definitely be worth it. Oh my God, just look at the quality of these pages and the reproductions inside. Oh, I'm so excited. This looks absolutely divine. I'm actually really thrilled with this. And there is diversity. I'm not seeing all white bodies here. This is good. Okay. I mean, I couldn't tell you right now how I feel about all of the individual images and the representation and the nuances of the representation, but I can tell you right now that I'm not seeing all white bodies, which is important to me. So, okay. I'm getting into it now. So here's the box. Oh wow, these are quite large cards. Are they large cards? Yeah, they seem large to me. I've got small hands. Okay, 78 keys to unlock the secrets to your heart. True Love Tarot. I can't believe I'm finally holding this. I'm so excited. Can't wait to get into it. Okay. Oh wow, the backing's really gorgeous. It's got a beautiful pattern on it. You can't really find that many images of this deck online, so it was kind of difficult for me to fully grasp what the overall vibe would be, you know. But I just could not stop thinking about it. And my best friend gave me an Amazon gift voucher for my birthday, fully, you know, thinking, well, she'll spend it on a tarot deck. And he wasn't wrong. That's exactly what I did. I picked this up with my Amazon gift voucher because I've got a couple of things coming. I've got Dust to Onyx, which is currently in customs. Honestly, I want my Dust to Onyx tarot fucking now, and it's not happening for me. I'm seeing all these flip throughs and unboxings and first impressions, and I want my hands on mine, but it's still at Coventry Customs, sitting there waiting to have the tax and handling fee calculated on it. The pain of being a UK tarot deck nerd. Such a pain. Okay, so I'm waiting for Dust to Onyx and I'm waiting for Marigold Tarot, which I've backed. So I'm trying to be good. I'm trying not to get anything else, and I won't get anything else, but somebody gives you a voucher. What are you going to do? You're going to have to buy a deck with it, surely. Surely to God. Okay, so I'm going to go through just like I do with my unboxing and first impressions on the channel, except it's totally uncut. I never edit my newsletter videos. I just like them to go out very raw. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to talk about any cards that I am enjoying. I will say this is playing card stock. It's definitely not really sturdy stock. I thought I'd mention because I know a lot of people have that as a concern. I'm getting more fond of having sturdy stock now. I mean, I don't want it to be really rock hard, but I'm definitely getting fonder of the good stock and noticing with some small degree of dismay when it is more of a playing card stock. But definitely not to the extent where I wouldn't buy a deck because of it or anything like that. Like, I don't have a really hard shuffle anyway. I don't shuffle really aggressively, so I can handle it. But I'm definitely becoming a little bit more of a stock snob over time than I was a while ago. I must say, I'm getting used to the good stuff. So many decks are made so well these days. Okay, so, I mean, let's just begin with the Fool. Look at the outfit that the Fool is wearing here. Oh, that glare. It's just, isn't that just so flamboyant and totally over the top? I love it. It's like something I would definitely wear in certain circumstances. I really enjoy that the subheading for the Fool is trust as well. That's really cool. And the Magician, the subheading for the Magician is energy, and that's really gorgeous. You see what I mean about this collage style? It really feels like it's got so much depth to it. You really step into the card, which is just excellent. So you'll notice that the borders change depending on the suit. So you've got the purple for the Major Arcana, and then you've got pink for roses, and then is this wings? Yeah, for wings you've got blue, for shells you've got green, and gems you've got yellow, which is going to be confusing because green is shells, which is water, and the yellow is gems, which is earth. So that's definitely going to be a bit confusing for me, but I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. Okay. I feel like the High Priestess is Isis in the hills, and the subheading is intuition, which is super appropriate, right? Okay. Oh wow, the Empress is really beautiful. Gorgeous. So much pink. And I love the fact that there's two women here. It doesn't look like a woman and a daughter, but it could well be. Yeah, it could be a mother and a daughter. I don't know, I'm not sure. I feel like the other figure has quite a mature face as well, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh wow, I love the Hierophant. That's gorgeous. I love that really contemplative pose and facial expression there. Oh, I'm just going to really love getting into this. Look at this full-on kiss in the Lovers card. Gorgeous. Oh wow, I'm really loving this. Oh wow, what a really trippy Wheel of Fortune card. How amazing is that? That's really cool. Oh, I'm so glad I stayed up and unboxed this. This has really made me happy. It's been a heck of a day, and this is definitely what I needed at the end of it. It's a very cool star card with the subheading Hope. It's got a really ominous kind of feel to it. It's yeah, it's very emotive, that one. Very emotive. I just love the collage vibes here. I love the world, and I love the fact that the subheading is consummation. That's really gorgeous, isn't it? How beautiful is that? Okay, so we start then with the Princess of Roses. So we're into the Minor Arcana now, and we've got Prince, Princess, Queen and King. Okay, so there's a princess instead of there's a princess instead of a page, and a prince instead of a knight, which I really enjoy actually. I quite like that play on things. So Princess of Roses. Now let me just remind you again, and remind me, I think roses are wands. Yeah, so the suit of roses is the fire suit, the suit of wands. And the Princess of Roses, which would ordinarily be the Page of Wands, has the subheading the Adventurer, which is very appropriate. So I'm definitely going to be able to get my head around this sooner rather than later, I think. Although that colour thing that's going on with gems and shells is going to be hard, because you always expect green to be pentacles. Well, I do anyway. I don't expect green to be the water suit, to be honest with you. The Prince of Roses is the mover. Gorgeous. The leader is Queen of Roses, and look at the Queen of Roses. Oh my goddess, I'm in love. I'm so in love with this queen. How gorgeous is she? And the king is also looking very dapper with the subheading the Motivator, which is really cool. This is gorge. Absolutely gorge. Okay, so now we're on to the numbered cards for roses. The Ace of Roses is Passion, and it's just this great big bloom. Oh, these are so lovely. They're non-illustrative pips, but they have like roses all over them, so they look super beautiful, really fresh, really gorgeous, and they so much appeal to me. This deck really appeals to me. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. This is just beautiful. Seven of Roses is courage, which is just great. I love these little subheadings. Oh, they're just doing so much for me. I've got so much time for these little subheadings. Okay, I'm on to Princess of Wings, which is the messenger. How gorgeous is that? Stunning. Okay, with wings there's butterflies for all of the pips from ace to 10. Four of Wings is privacy. The wings are the suit of swords, the air suit, normally in a normal tarot deck. Oh wow, Six of Wings is passage, and you've got all these brown butterflies there. That's an interesting choice. Oh wow, look at the colours for Seven of Wings, which is opposition. That's beautiful. Those colours are so deep. Okay, so now we're into shells. This is the Queen of Shells, the empath, normally the Queen of Cups. Very cool. And then you've got actual shells for the pips. Wow, they're all different kinds of shells as well. Reevaluation is Four of Shells, which would ordinarily be Four of Cups. Five of Shells is disappointment. Amazing. What an amazing deck. Princess of Gems is gorgeous. Love those surroundings. That is incredible greenery there. And you've got that blanket of stars in the background as well. How lush. And Prince of Gems. Quite like that shield. It's really cool. Queen of Gems, the nurturer. And King of Gems, the realist, which I really enjoy that subheading, the realist. Oh, and then you've got gems for all of the non-illustrative pips, which are beautiful. Ace of Gems is reward. This is normally the suit of pentacles. Oh, Three of Gems, you've got pink gems, and that's work. Love the pink gems. Trust me to love the pink gems. Oh, and the purple ones. Generosity, Six of Gems, aka Six of Pentacles. This is a bloody gorgeous deck. 10 of Gems has got all different colours, and the subheading is protection. Oh, I love this deck. I'm so happy that I got this, and also that I stayed up to unbox it and give you my impressions, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little 3-card reading with this. So I really enjoyed doing that last time I sent a newsletter out back in October, where I unboxed Chris Carr's Crazy Sexy Love Notes. Thank you so much for the amazing feedback on that, by the way, if you left a comment. I really enjoyed doing that. I can't believe I finally got these in my hands. Just giving them a really good shuffle, so I don't want to end up with egg on my face, getting literally 3 cards that are from the same suit in perfect order. The cards are 2 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles and 4 of Pentacles. That'd be a bit of a nightmare. Okay. So I'm literally going to basically pull 3 cards, do a 3-card reading, and I'm not going to home in on anything specific. I'm just going to let some thoughts come out, and you can take what resonates with you and think about how the messages that I'm putting forth and the way that I'm interpreting the cards could be relevant in your life, or could be useful to you at the current juncture, wherever you are with whatever you're going through. And we're really just going to leave it nice and open like that. I'm somebody that feels like tarot can do its best work when it is specific to one person rather than general for everyone. But at the same time, I do believe that if we decide to just leave a reading open so that anybody can kind of consider how it's affecting them and what resonates with them, then we can also do really, really good work with tarot. We can also get really incredible, hefty results from tarot. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this very first sojourn into True Love Tarot. Okay, so I'm going to just cut the deck, and the 3 cards are, for our reading today, 7 of Shells with the subheading Illusion, so that would be 7 of Cups usually, the World, which I showed as one of the ones that I really enjoyed from the Major Arcana with the subheading Consummation. I always get that wrong. I think I actually made a video a really long time ago where I tried to say consummate and I said consume. And I was really mortified. And the 3rd and final card, Judgment, Perspective. I love that. I really enjoy that image. It's like a necropolis kind of ruins sort of thing. And then you've got this sort of goddess figure in the sky above. So that's really cool. Okay. So 7 of Shells, the World and Judgment are the 3 cards that we can take some inspiration from and just really sit with and contemplate. So I'm going to begin then with 7 of Shells, Illusion. I love the fact that the subheading here is Illusion. I think that that's really, there's a lot to that. There's a depth to that really kind of excites me and makes me interested. Because 7 of Cups, usually 7 of Cups is my favourite card from the Major Arcana, Minor Arcana in terms of cups. So for the whole of the suit of cups, the 7 is my favourite. And it does have a strong shadow, the 7 of Cups, because it can be about struggling to make a decision, struggling to figure out what is really important, having so much choice at your disposal that you're kind of overwhelmed. And it can also be about the worry that the choices that you make are not going to be in alignment with your identity or how you perceive yourself. There can be a lot of shadowy stuff as well around things like procrastination, resistance to choosing any path whatsoever. So to me, it's really interesting that Illusion is the subheading that's been chosen for 7 of Shells, which is this deck's answer to the 7 of Cups. I feel like the illusion that could be going on with 7 of Shells is an illusion around the amount of kind of rigidity and micromanaging that you need to have when you're making a decision. I think that so many people get stuck on the sidelines worrying about the very, very, very fine detail of a decision that they're making. I think that they get stuck in analysis paralysis, they get stuck on that hamster wheel of worry and panic and anxiety. I think that they tell themselves that they can't make a decision until they've figured out every single variable, until they've, made sure that absolutely every single thing is accounted for. I think that there is a great deal of solemnity and seriousness and worry when it comes to making decisions and choosing priorities and taking action, when really the reality is that sometimes we just need to make a choice and we need to make a move on the chessboard of life. And it's only after we have made some kind of a move that we actually start to own our power and we start to see different possibilities coming into our line of sight. Sometimes when we're stuck, when we're in the same position, we look out at the chessboard or the terrain of life, however you want to view it, and we can't actually see possibilities. We can't see the spectrum of what is available because we haven't moved anywhere. We are stuck in the same position. And so within that same position, we have the exact same vantage point that we had before. So sometimes it's not about sitting around on the sidelines trying to make the exact right decision, believing that the decision that you make is something that's going to haunt you for the rest of your life if you get it wrong, and just really pressuring yourself and putting yourself in that pressure cooker. That's not useful. Sometimes we just need to make a choice, especially if we know that the status quo has become untenable. And so any choice is better than not making any move at all. So sometimes we just need to make a decision. We need to get out of our heads and into our bodies. We need to let the energy flow through us. And we need to just basically start walking in any direction. If you're lost, you can start walking in any fucking direction, And I feel like I've definitely had times in my life where I've really sat around over analysing a decision so profoundly that I felt so stuck, so stagnated, and I felt psycho-spiritually paralysed essentially. And really what I needed to do was I just needed to start walking on a specific path. I just needed to get some new things, see some new things, experience some new things, get a fresh perspective. And it was only from there, it was only from taking that risk to just walk in any direction that I then found access to my power. So sometimes we just need to take action, and that's as far as it needs to go. And we don't need to be so serious and so overwrought and so solemn about making the right choice, because sometimes you need to take a couple of wrong turns in order to find the path that you are really supposed to be on. It might not necessarily be right in front of you. You might need to take several wrong turns before you actually reach it. And that's something that's happened to me in my life on a few occasions, where I had a number of different decisions in front of me that I could have made. I convinced myself that one of them was the right one, and I had to take the right one, and I was really worried about taking the wrong one. And I would let myself get really pent up about it and really worried about it. And actually, with the benefit of hindsight, what I've realised when I look back at those situations is that none of the avenues that were directly in front of me were actually right for me. I needed to go into that shit show of a direction that was wrong for me in order to find the left turn that led to the secret pathway, that led to the little passageway, that led through the door, that led me to where I needed to be more than anything else in the world. But I could never have known that from my original vantage point. I had to take a risk. I had to make a decision. I had to stop allowing myself to just be stuck. So to me, that's what the subheading illusion gives me when I think about Seven of Shells in this deck. I think about the illusion that it really matters so much that I choose the right direction. And I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying, you know, don't think at all about your direction. Just do whatever comes to mind. Obviously check in with your instinct. Obviously think about pros and cons. That's fine. But if you know that you are just stuck in worry and you're not taking any action because you're just terrified of failure or you're terrified of going down the wrong road, then ask yourself, are you ever really going to know what's out there and what's possible if you don't start moving in one direction or another? And the chances are that the answer to that question will be no. So I think it's really about just making a move in a specific direction, seeing what happens, doing anything as a kind of antidote to doing nothing. And that's definitely something that's helped me in the past. The World, Consummation. I really enjoy this card. This is an incredible version of the world, really interesting kind of thing to consider. It's weird to see an angel for the world like you would normally see an angel in Judgment, right? So this is quite strange, and it is really interesting. I like to think of an angel as being a representation of some kind of higher knowledge or a higher self, a higher mind that goes up beyond the concerns of the ego and beyond the perspective that is just individual and unique to that one person. I like to see the angel as kind of like a crown chakra creature a lot of the time. So the angel is a point of view that is beyond the ego, that is more transpersonal, or that is more of a unified perspective. So all of the different perspectives combined. And sometimes we need to have the bravery and the wisdom to understand when it's time to stop making decisions and taking actions via the lens of our personal ego, and when it's time to actually start to try and transcend ego and go up kind of onto the high rise, onto the skyscraper, and look down on ourselves from that vantage point and think, now I'm having an out-of-body experience where I'm looking at my behaviour, I'm looking at my decisions, and I can really figure out why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. I know that when I make a decision from a real kind of ego-based place where it's about me and it's just about my concerns and the way that I want to be perceived or the things that I want to achieve, sometimes that's way too small and too narrow of a perspective for what I'm actually in need of. And when I go to my altar, when I chant, when I meditate, when I journey with the goddess, when I do automatic writing, when I try to get out of my head, out of my ego, and I try to connect with something that is beyond that, that is bigger than that, that's often when the different doors start to open up to me, and I can see more possibility, and I can see more scope for transformation and more scope for alchemy. So I do think the fact that there is an angel in the world, because the world is so much to do with the integration of learning and the understanding that comes from an experience and reaching the end of that experience, the richness of wisdom, if you will. I feel like the angel being present in the world card in this deck very much says to me that sometimes you have to have the wisdom to get out of your ego state and use spiritual practices, spiritual frameworks, spiritual activities to lift yourself out of your own perspective, get out of your own way, and really start to see it more from a God perspective, if you will. A lot of people do this through meditating. A lot of people, you know, do this through chanting. A lot of people do it through trance work. A lot of people do it through work with entheogenic substances. Whatever you have to do to kind of unlock what is beyond that ego state of play, where you're thinking about everything from that egoic place, sometimes that is the ultimate wisdom. It's the wisdom to know when to do that. And I feel like that's something that I've been blessed with having at certain times in my life, and other times not so much. Other times I have felt very entrapped by my own needs and my own perspective, and I haven't been able to see outside of that, or I haven't been able to appreciate other people's perspectives. And so, you know, that's what the world is saying to me. So I definitely ask you to consider, do you need to get out of your ego state of seeing something? Do you need to move into spiritual work in order to get away from your very narrow, very rigid perspective and start to see things from a more multifaceted perspective, more multi-layered, maybe seeing things through other people's eyes, or recognizing what would be the right choice according to what your spirit tells you, rather than what your basic egoic needs are, or how you want to be perceived, or what you want to get from the situation. A lot of people do spiritual work so they can make decisions using the higher mind rather than the ego state. They want to make decisions from a place that is not so self-centered and so self-serving. They want to make decisions from a place that is more about analysing their behaviour and analysing why they do certain things, and actually looking at that and taking it in hand and saying, okay, I understand why I might want to take this road, which is very ego directed, but actually there are all these decisions that I could make as well, and some of these are actually better for me. So that's the reason why a lot of people do spiritual work. I know that's one of the main reasons that I do it. So the final card is Judgment. I'm very aware of the fact that these two are next to each other in the deck, so I still didn't shuffle well enough, but I still believe that the cards that need to come through, you know? So the subheading here is perspective for the Judgment card. I really, really love this card. I love all the blue and green hues and that darkness in the sky. That is just really beautiful. So I'm really glad this one came up. I like the fact that perspective is the subheading for Judgment, because if you think about judgment as being the way that you perceive something, then perspective is everything. And maybe you're going through a situation at the moment in your life where you're beginning to recognise that your perspective is built out of your memories, your shadows, the things that you've been through, the experiences that you've had, the things that you feel that you lack, and the achievements that you have managed to kind of, you know, win as well, the wins, the triumphs. And so in realising that, you may also realise that somebody who is diametrically opposed to you, someone in your life who doesn't agree with you, someone you're having a conflict with now, or even a misunderstanding or a miscommunication with, is simply looking at things through their lens as well. And their perspective is made up of the building blocks of the things that they've been through, a lot of which may be in stark contrast to the things that you've been through. And when we can look at that and see the reality of that and just really understand that and lean into it, that, I think, is a very beautiful thing, and it's not always possible. Sometimes we see red and we just are angry and we feel misconstrued, and God, I hate that feeling of being misconstrued, you know, when somebody thinks they've got an understanding of why you're doing or saying something and they couldn't have it more wrong, and that feels so low vibe. And that can make you feel very angry, very defensive, very guarded, very, you know, pulling the portcullis up, pulling the drawbridge up. Portcullis goes down, pulling the drawbridge up, putting the portcullis down, and just like, you know, not wanting to let anyone in. And sometimes when we feel misunderstood or misconstrued or attacked or demeaned, it's very difficult to get out of that headspace for a second and just put ourselves in the other person's shoes. I like the fact that perspective is the subheading for judgment, because it reminds me that if I'm experiencing a judgment of a situation or a person or a group of people, then I also have the ability to be able to understand why they are experiencing the judgments that they may be experiencing of me, or why they may be judging a situation in a completely different way. And even if at the end of the day I still need to part ways with that person, or I still need to leave the situation, at least I've done so with a more overarching understanding of why I had to do that. And I leave with less anger in my heart. I leave without hatred in my heart. I leave with a sense of balance, and with a sense of knowing that I did the right thing for myself, but I didn't do it out of malice, and I didn't do it out of a desire to destroy, but simply out of a desire to continue to thrive in my own life. I really hope that these thoughts and messages have been useful for you. I feel like what really came through for me most strongly of all from looking at these 3 cards now is, firstly, that sometimes taking any action whatsoever can be restorative and better than taking no action. So sometimes you just need to get on a specific road and see what unfolds as a result of that. So don't hold yourself back. If you know that you've been delaying and procrastinating and nail biting and overthinking, maybe you just need to start to experience momentum in any direction and see what comes of it. And I also feel like a lot came through about looking at things via the higher mind, making sure that you are not just letting your ego lead you around, but that actually you are going up into the spiritual mind, the higher mind, and making decisions that maybe don't necessarily align completely with the ego. They might even be ego alien, but you understand that on a deeper level they're nutritious and delicious, you know? And maybe they have a more long-term positive effect than a short-term satisfaction, but you can make decisions like that. You can actually be wise enough sometimes to make decisions that sometimes might make your ego feel a little bit stroppy, but your spirit knows it's the good shit. Your spirit knows it's right. And finally, with the judgment card, I feel like what really came through was that if we recognise that we're judging or discerning from our particular perspective, and we honour the fact that other people's perspectives are different, we may leave the situation in a less destructive way, and we may deal with the situation in a less destructive manner, even if the other person or the other people don't follow suit and they do choose to be destructive and they do choose to be low vibe. That doesn't mean you have to be, and that doesn't mean I have to be. We can still make the decision not to do that. Wow, I really, really love reading from this deck for you. Thank you for sharing this unboxing and first impressions with me. How enjoyable. I'm going to go and lay some of these out on the floor now, finish my rum and coke, and just enjoy looking at my beautiful new deck, and looking forward to chatting about this in a card slinger episode and just playing with it and working with it and using it for clients. This will definitely be a good one to use for clients. If you've never had a reading from me before and you would like to check out my options, I will definitely leave the link down below to the online store, and I'll also leave it in the body of the newsletter as well. Check out Neon Witch. It is available now to purchase. It's my latest video collection. The videos start to launch on one of the very last days of January. It's 10 videos and they're all about witchcraft, so definitely check that out too. I do tarot chat sessions, I do business mentoring, I do spiritual counselling and other little delights as well. I've got an ebook, I've got some e-zines, I've got some audio workshops that I'm offering, so please go on over to the store and see if you would like to work with me one-on-one, or you'd like to purchase something. And thanks again for sitting with me during this unboxing and first impressions. I'm so excited about this, so happy. Mwah. Much love guys, blessed be.